The Sigma 30mm F1.4 was announced all the way back in February of 2016, 8 years ago, and with this lens now being 8-year-old, it does bring up a really valid question. Is it still worth the hype in 2024? And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video, because anytime I talk about any APS-C camera, I always get comments about the 30mm F1.4. I use the A6000 with my 30mm F1.4. I think the 30mm F1.4 is the best prime lens for APS-C cameras. Love using my A6400 with the 30mm F1.4. And I'm reading these comments at my desk or on my phone somewhere, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I need to test out this lens and see what it's all about. Because everybody's been raving about this lens, and I feel like I've not been invited to the party. So to join in, I broke into the VIP section and got in contact with Sigma UK asking if I could test out this lens. Their response was, "How did you get in here?" And I said, "Through the bathroom window." Confused by that response but impressed by my efforts, Sigma were like, "Yeah, sure." And the next day, this lens was with me to test out. But I decided to hold off using it until I went away on a trip I booked. I asked Sigma if I could take this lens away with me on this trip because I truly believe it is one of the best places in the world to test out a 30mm F1.4. And they said, "Yeah, sure, no problem." Where is it you're going? This is the perfect place to test out this lens because of the focal length. This is the equivalent of a 45mm lens if it was on a full frame sensor. So it's not a wide lens, nor is it a telephoto. It's somewhere in that mid-range, and with this also being a focal length that is close to 50mm, it has a very natural field of view, closely mimicking what we see with the naked eye. I've been shooting here in Lisbon for the last couple of days with this lens, and my goodness, is this thing phenomenal. This lens was designed for places like Lisbon. I found it exceptionally difficult to take this lens off my A6700. The way it handles compression is really flattering, and also this lens is fantastic if you want to do a bit of talking head with. And I've been shooting a lot of my B-roll with this lens too. So how about build quality? Well, with this being an older lens, I was expecting some flaws, but I was a fool to even think that, because this is the kind of lens that set the standard going forward to how all Sigma lenses are constructed, especially for APS-C cameras. This is made mostly of metals. There is a little bit of plastic at the front, but not too much, and of course there is some good glass in the middle. The focus ring is nice and smooth, no complaints there, but there is no weather sealing on this lens, so that is one slight downside. As you can tell, this lens is very small and compact. It only weighs 280 grams, meaning this lens feels superb in the hand and right at home on the front of any APS-C camera. Before we talk about the autofocus and the image quality from this lens, let's discuss the price. And I think this is situated perfectly in the market. Currently in the UK, this lens is around £309. And when I say here in the UK, I'm actually in Lisbon at the moment, so I mean over in the UK. But across the pond in America, this lens is even cheaper, coming in at only $264. That's a steal for the quality you're getting from this lens, making it an ideal choice for any beginner photographer who doesn't want to break the bank but does want a fantastic prime lens. Honestly, this lens has one of the best price to performance ratios I've ever seen, and this is abundantly clear in the image quality from this lens, which I will leave up to future editor Curtis to handle because he will have the inside scoop on that. Curtis, take it away. Thank you, Pastor Curtis. I hope you are having a lovely time in Lisbon. Make the most of it, because here in the UK, it is raining, it is miserable, it is windy as per usual. Next time, we're switching roles. So image quality, in all fairness, is really easy to talk about from this lens because it is razor sharp, even wide open at f1.4. I think I heard that when this lens was released, it was DxO's best Sony E-mount lens that they had ever tested at the time, which just shows how good this lens really is. And what that shows, despite this lens being 8-year-old, good glass can last a lifetime. Cameras are always replaceable. Is that a saying, or have I just literally made that up right now? I'm pretty sure it is a saying, but I probably just butchered it. I was trying to sound emotive, powerful, inspiring, but instead I just fell flat on my face dribbling words on the floor. But take a look at these photographs from around Lisbon and let me know what you think. think we can all agree that the image quality from this lens doesn't disappoint. Colour and contrast are fantastic, and it's razor sharp even wide open at f1.4. And having that f1.4 as well on the lens is ideal. This thing produces some stunning subject separation, plus it's ideal in low light shooting situations and is a bit of a bokeh beast. Now, the only slight downside I have discovered with this lens for my hands-on testing in the field in Lisbon is colour fringing. This lens does produce some pretty bad colour fringing when wide open at f1.4. It's more noticeable in some shooting scenarios than others, but it is just something to be a little bit mindful of. Now, I haven't done any studio tests yet, but if I do, they'll be on screen right now. And what you'll see is when it's open at f1.4, it'll be a lot more noticeable. When you start closing down the aperture to f1.8, f2, f2.2, f2.8, and so on, it'll become less and less. Is this a deal breaker? I wouldn't say so, especially for the price you are paying for this lens. In most shooting scenarios, you're probably not even going to notice it unless you pixel peep. It's just something to be a little bit mindful of. So now on to autofocus for both photo and video with the 30mm lens. Important question this, because over the last 8 years there have been some massive leaps in autofocus technology in cameras. They've become so much more robust and reliable. So if a lens isn't performing with the most recent camera model, we know which one is to blame. Starting with photography autofocus, and from my extensive hands-on testing, I have not been let down with the 30mm F1.4. It works incredibly well in conjunction with the Sony A6700 and its AI autofocus, so I can confirm it will be great with any APS-C camera. It's fast, it's reliable, and it's accurate. Everything you could want and need from a lens. The same also goes for video autofocus, which I was a little bit more surprised at. Because it is an older lens, I was expecting the autofocus to be a little bit slower. It isn't the fastest I've ever seen. More modern Sigma lenses are a little bit faster, I think, but it's only a very slight difference. More than usable in any scenario. It is incredible how well this lens has held up for autofocus and how well it's able to track and lock on to a subject with ease. So now let's talk about my final thoughts with the 30mm F1.4. And you know what, past Curtis, do you have any thoughts about this lens that you'd like to share with us?
Thanks, future Curtis, and yes, I actually do. From my hands-on testing, I have come to the simple conclusion that I have slept on this lens. The Sigma 30mm F1.4 is a mighty all-round lens, and that is what you want from a lens, especially as a beginner. You can shoot products, portraits, landscapes, cars, and street photography with this lens. The versatility, it is pretty damn good. Adding to the mix is razor sharp, ultra fast, and compact. You have a lens that is ideal for any beginner photographer or video shooter. I always like recommending good prime lenses to people because I think these lenses teach you a lot about photography. Zoom lens is easier in a way because you can zoom with the lens, and whilst there is nothing wrong with that, I find using a prime lens makes you more thoughtful about your compositions because you have to zoom with your feet, and in turn, I think that makes you more creative. So is the Sigma 30mm F1.4 still worth it? Well, rather predictably, absolutely, and I am so sorry it has taken me so long to do some videos with this lens. I have definitely slept on this one. So great to hear what your thoughts are on the 30mm F1.4. I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this probably own this lens already, so yeah, leave your thoughts down below. It'll be interesting to hear what you think about this lens. Now, if you want to watch the POV that I shot whilst here in Lisbon, definitely check out this video right here, and I'm actually going to continue filming that POV now because I haven't actually finished it yet, and it's really weird to be recommending a video that I haven't actually finished filming yet. This is getting confusing. This is like some Inception level stuff. But with all that said, guys, that is where I am going to be leaving today's video. So until next time, create, explore, and inspire.